Hey YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to Imperium Gaming, and welcome to the very first episode of Kingdom Come Deliverance History. What's Kingdom Come Deliverance History? Well, I'm thinking it'll be a series of videos where I get to discuss various aspects of late medieval life in the context of real history and the game world itself. With the game as historically authentic and visually stunning as Kingdom Come, I think it'll be a great start for the channel. In this first episode, we'll be discussing castles, and answering more specifically two key questions. What were castles? And why were castles built? We'll go over a third question: what are the main features of a castle, in future episodes, where we'll be analyzing each of the four main castles in Kingdom Come: Skalitz, Talmberg, and the upper and lower castles of Rattay. Let's begin with defining a castle. If we look at the etymology of the word castle, we'll of course find classical Latin castrum and late Latin castellum, the latter eventually becoming Italian castello, Spanish Castillo, and French Château. This is fine and all, but does that mean that the frontier castra or Roman-occupied Britannia, Hispania, and Pannonia are castles? What about the Renaissance French Château of Chantilly? The colonial Spanish Castillo de San Marcos? None of these look like castles. Well, what exactly is a castle? According to Google, a castle is a large building or a group of buildings fortified against attack with thick walls, battlements, towers, and in many cases a moat. Now this is what most people think about when they think about a castle. An impressive stone keep, concentric walls, grand fortifications, you name it.
But wait! There's more!
A castle can also be a magnificent and imposing mansion, especially one that is the home or former home of a member of the nobility. I think Shadiversity defines it best when he says that a medieval castle, and I must stress medieval, is simply a proper and legitimate family residence equipped with the sufficient fortifications to withstand an attack. I guess Sir Divish wasn't wrong in addressing his very own Talmberg.
Or do you take the view that my humble manor is any obstacle to your army?
Speaking of Shadiversity, he has a bunch of great content over on his channel, especially on castles and medieval architecture. If you haven't already, I highly recommend you go check him out. In considering this definition, it should come as no surprise that the four main castles in Kingdom Come are legitimate castles, that is, places of noble residence with capable fortification. Now that we know what castles are, why were they built in the first place? Castles were often built in key strategic locations for a number of specific purposes. A few examples include to fortify key points of interest, to secure land and resources, to defend trade routes, and to subdue local populations. In many cases, castles needed to serve as a formidable line of defense. This is apparent during the Italian incastellamento of the 10th century. For example, in 923, there was an agreement to fortify an existing castle residence in order to repel Magyar invasions. Just like with modern real estate, it's all about location, location, location. Some of the best defensible locations are top elevated ground, such as hills and cliffsides, and along rivers. A number of historical examples include Carcassonne, Hohenzollern, Dover Castle, Toledo, and Český Krumlov. I mean, just look at any medieval castle, and you'll see that its location, its strategic positioning, is imperative in its function as a defensive structure. I actually just heard about Ivangorod Fortress, which was built for the sole purpose of halting enemy advances from Hermann Castle, literally right across the river. Contested real estate, to say the least. In Kingdom Come Deliverance, all castles are beautifully situated atop elevated ground, especially the castles of Rattay, which are also screened by the grand Sasau River. These positions give the residing lords a secure and defensible foothold over the surrounding villages and countryside. For our next example, let's imagine you stumble upon a valuable resource. You're going to want to capitalize and defend this territory.
He who commands the Kuttenberg silver is king.
And what better way than with a castle? In Kingdom Come, Talmberg has its stone and Skalitz has its silver. The latter is even named Silver Skalitz for its mines. This wasn't unheard of in the medieval period. For example, the Austrian city of Salzburg just means salt castle or salt town, named for the abundance of salt in the area. In addition to securing valuable resources, you'll also want to defend key trade routes. Some great historical examples of this include the castles of Střekov and Orava. Let's not forget, castles can be intimidating, and that's exactly why they were also used to scare the crap out of nearby populations. This is probably best illustrated by the castle boom of Anglo-Norman Britain. After the Battle of Hastings in 1066, Norman castles pop up all over the island. First as motte and baileys under William the Conqueror, and then later as concentric stone fortresses under Edward I, known creatively as, well, Edwardian castles. These castles were positions of power, and most certainly had a frightening effect on the local populations. Although I'm not sure if the castles in Kingdom Come were originally built for this same reason, I am sure that the folks at Skalitz and Talmberg would have thought twice before doing anything stupid with these stone giants right at their doorstep. Unless you're Matthew or Fritz. They're always up to trouble.
We're just doing what we have to do.
So, I was originally planning on making this an all-intensive video on castles, background, function, and design. But as I mentioned in the intro, this third aspect will be featured instead in future videos. I decided that it'd be best to dedicate whole videos to each castle, one for Skalitz, another for Talmberg, and a special 2-for-1 for Rattay. They really do deserve their own spotlight, and I didn't want to feel rushed with limited time. Okay, just for the holidays, I've actually gone ahead and uploaded my in-depth look at Skalitz, which you can watch right here. It should be a nice preview of things to come. I will say this though, we all know that Warhorse Studios and their historians did their research. Skalitz, Talmberg, and Rattay, and every other town and village in Kingdom Come were designed with actual historical plans in mind, so I won't be commenting on their historical authenticity. I'll instead use the game as a visual tool to showcase the different aspects of castle design and architecture. The castles in Kingdom Come Deliverance all have a beautifully simple yet functional design. Nothing fancy. Rectangular keeps and baileys, no more than 1 or 2 rounded towers, moats with drawbridges. You know what they say, simplicity is sometimes best, and these castles got the job done. Plus, they look pretty freaking awesome. I'm really looking forward to this series, and I hope you all enjoy. Thanks for watching, and for more on your favorite historical games, stay tuned with Imperium Gaming on YouTube, Twitter, and on our blog. Links in the video description. Thanks again, and until next time.